Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of the X-Fan Show, the A Train at your service. My guy, usually my partner in crime, is with me, Dirty, but Dirty is under the weather today and he's not feeling himself. So just send a positive thought or prayer, whatever you do that sends a positive vibe over to Dirty, and just keep him in your thoughts for today. All right. This is the X-Fan Show, brought to you through the PFA Studios. And I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet today because Dirty's not here. If he does pop in, then that'll be fine. But with him being under the weather, I don't expect him to pop in today. But there has been some news out as of late. We're starting to see – yeah, thanks enough, Brian. Thank you so much, man. We're starting to see more hirings happening in the XFL right now, in the way that I interpret it and Dirty would interpret it. Kurt Hunzingers are coming into the mix. And the reason why I use Kurt as an example is because of the job that he was able to do in a city that had no NFL team. So there were hirings over this past week, thanks to people over at Newsroom and News Hub. The Defenders have hired theirs. I think I've seen the Arlington Renegades have hired theirs. Also, of course, St. Louis did with Brandon Williams, the former Big Ten broadcaster, and also done some things over at Anheuser-Busch. So he's a part of that. And there was one other name, I think it was Catherine Schultz, over for the Houston Roughnecks. There have been some hirings in the VP of Business and Event Operations. What's going on, Jimmy? Van, thank you so much for tuning in today. But now we're going to start seeing more community-based stuff from more hirings that they're having right now with these vice president of business and event operations. Yeah, and exactly. If you have not seen, just go around. You go check out on the internet with the different teams. They're doing a lot of great things for the holiday season, such as what the Orlando Guardians have been doing. And so proud of that. Let's let you know that now they're starting to bring in the community. And one of the major things with this is now bringing in the different audiences. That's where we're at right now. And definitely, what's going on, Andrew? Good to see you, man. Definitely where we're at now is we're in December. And if you haven't gotten your gifts yet, XFL Shop is definitely out there wanting you to grab some of that stuff. They even have some discounts that are out right now. And yes, the DC Defenders fan event is coming up. It's today. As a matter of fact, you need to respond ASAP if you want to participate, those that are in DC. And I'm curious to see how that event is like what we've seen with the San Antonio Brahma Fan Fest. I know other cities are going to be involved, but I got to go back. I have to go back to these positions with vice presidents of business and event operations, and I have to use Kurt Hunzinger as an example. I say, hey, does anybody got hot water for Dirty? I'm pretty sure he's using some hot water right now as we speak, champ. Good to see you on the show today. I have to use Kurt for an example because Kurt was, and don't get me wrong, others have done well too, team presidents. And that's kind of the role where we're at right now. It's more like a team president, but they're handling the business dealings outside of the field. They're not dealing with personnel. They're more going into the communities. And what Kurt was able to do was he was able to get on he was able to get out there every single day, every single week, leading up to February. And due to his background within minor league baseball, that was key. And being able to do that, I mean, having a major team going out and convincing, because you had to do that. You had to convince the city of St. Louis, hey, we got a football team. We need you to back it. And they responded. So I'm hoping, I'm not trying to put pressure on anyone that's in these positions now, but like Brandon Williams, you got a tall task. And I know he can do it. I know he can do it because he has background with Anheuser-Busch, and Anheuser-Busch worked with the XFL back in 2020. Yes, Andrew, understood. They need to help. They need to start getting on these jerseys and whatnot. But hey, you got to give it time. Again, we've said it before. You got to let the cookies bake. All right. So at this point right now, it's all about engaging the communities, the 8 cities. Seattle did well in 2020. Houston did well in 2020. DC did well in 2020. Of course, St. Louis led the league in attendance. And now you got San Antonio into the mix. Okay. Now that we have those teams, it's all about getting one person to learn more about the XFL. That's what the mayor of the XFL does, is if he's encountering one person, he's going to mention the XFL to that person. So that's why it takes all of us. And of course, when the season comes, we can talk trash about our favorite teams and whatnot. And, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing how these beginning to develop. One major bit of news that came out was that, and shout out to Patrick Ruffino over at XFL News Hub, that Jordan Teamu was spotted in Arlington, Texas. He's handling the minicamp over with Jordan Palmer. Now, this is not to say that it's guaranteed, but I'm so hoping that it is the case, because if so, my prediction will be correct. I'm hoping. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, because I don't know it's going to happen. He's just there right now. And my thing is, I'm really hoping that he gets a chance to come back to the XFL. And if he does play, it's going to have to be with the Arlington Renegades. That's where I see him playing. And I know a lot of people were like, well, you wouldn't bring a guy like Kyle Sloter over. Now, if you watched Texans Cowboys on Sunday, I know they're not doing so hot, but I'm using this as an example. They used a 2-quarterback system for that game and almost beat the Cowboys. And I would not be surprised if Arlington takes that type of approach going into the season. I know it's way too early because it's December. We don't even know we don't even know who the final rosters are yet. But if a guy like a Jordan Teamu comes into the picture, I don't see how they pass up a potential 2-quarterback system that they could use. And don't get me wrong, I don't know if the other 2 quarterbacks that are there already and that were assigned will make the team. My thing is, I would not be surprised if the Renegades, with the combination of John Hayes and Chuck Long, uses a 2-quarterback system. I know, right? That's a crazy thing. That would be for sure, Brian, is Jordan Teamu playing for Bob Stoops. And those that remember, Jordan Teamu was it does say boo. You don't think Stoops will do that? I don't know. You know, you never know, because the XFL is, as much as I don't want to agree with this sentiment, it's about experiment. It's about trying new things. It's about trying different approaches. This is about how well you can work different offenses and defenses and schemes to work for you to, potentially win. You got to remember, in the different rules, you do have, you said, respect the unexpected, right? Exactly. You never know what could pop. when you're watching an XFL game. All right. And the only reason that we can use 2020 is that was the template. That's what we got to see over a period of time. We got 5 weeks with it. Okay. And for the most part, we saw what the game should look like, at least in the XFL standards. I know there have been talks of how would that translate with the XFL and the NFL. They're going to try. They're going to try. They're not going to do it right now, but they're going to try to implement certain things from the league and bring it into the NFL. It's coming, whether you like it, whether we like it or not. So just kind of keep that in mind. They're going to be experimenting different things. And I would love to know the mindsets of the head coaches. Like, you got a guy like Wade Phillips that is more defensive based. You have Terrell Buckley that's more defensive based. You got Anthony Beck that's an offensive guy. Hines Ward, offensive guys. I would love to pick their brains. I know it's early and they're getting their staffs all together, but just want to know what's in their heads right now as we're getting closer towards kickoff February 18th. I know the schedules is going to be dropping pretty soon. And then those jerseys that everybody is screaming about they want, and that is, it's going to take time. Everything is coming together and I just cannot wait. It's getting closer and closer and closer. Now, as Van stated right there, it's 64 days. So we're getting closer to this. And it's becoming more and more real as we getting closer to that day. We'll check a comment right here. Hey, Sandy. Sandy is with us as always. Says, I know Stoops like what he saw in Jordan when they played in 2020, but they wouldn't take Sal Canelo with their first pick if there was some kind of agreement with Slaughter. Interesting. We'll see. We'll see how that one turned out. Will they have cheerleaders this time around? I'm going to say they're not going to be XFL based. If anything, it'll be something within the local community and they'll bring in some type of cheerleading to the mix. And if that's not true, hey, I gave you an idea to work with. But the XFL themselves are not going to focus on eye candy or anything like that. 2001 is dead completely, y'all. It's dead. So don't worry about anything that was brought in from the past and bringing into the present. So that, it's not a focal point. The focal point is about the game. What's going on, Javier, man? Hey, folks, this is the X-Fan Show Afternoon Delight. I am the A-Train. Dirty is out this show today. And make sure you follow us on Facebook with the X-Fan Show. You can catch us on Twitch, and you can also catch us on our YouTube channel at X-Fan Show. All right. Exactly. They're staying away from 2001. They want to make sure that has nothing to do with this iteration of the XFL. Do we really even say, folks? Do we really even say that this is 3.0? Or do we call this 2.1 or 2.5? Because they never got a chance to finish the season. The USFL can say that. They can say that right now. But can we really say that it's really 3.0? See, Seattle has an unofficial mascot with Scorch. Interesting. That's very interesting for sure. It says Brian says, I'm not talking about the 2001 style, but like college style. I mean, like I said, if anything, it's not going to be like 2001. It's going to be more locally based. Like they'll bring in high schools or colleges to participate. And it'll be like, I wouldn't mind seeing like what baseball games, they have like a team, whatever the mascot. I know in St. Louis is Team Fredbird, and they're respectable. Excuse me, what they wear, and they engaging with fans and things like that. It's kind of like a cheerleading squad or a pep squad of sorts. So that would be interesting if they chose to utilize that for each game. I mean, I don't think anything would be wrong with that. And yeah, I understand, Flame Wing Man, that the USFL, they did keep it respectful. In with the cheerleaders, it didn't take away from the game. They focused on the game itself. See, DB Stallions, what's up, man? Great to have you on the show. He said, given the fan base, do you think St. Louis, Seattle, San Antonio will open at home for a good opening TV showing? My belief is this. When it comes down to television schedules, St. Louis got to have an opening game. And San Antonio has to be the nighttime game. And the reason why I say, and it needs to be, it has to open it and it has to close the weekend, because you got to remember it's 2 days, right? We got Saturday, we got Sunday. Open the weekend with St. Louis and close out the week with San Antonio in prime time. Okay. Seattle would be the late game, in my opinion. In my opinion, it might be Sunday, because you'll have two fan bases, big attendant fan bases in San Antonio, and that would be cool, because then you can see how San Antonio responds to that if they choose to do the primetime game. It's going to get a big crowd regardless. And I know my people out in San Antonio are going to continuously push and push and push to make sure that they can start with 30,000. Because, folks, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to exactly be like how 2020 began. No matter how much we want for a chance to be bigger than what it's supposed to be, right? So, with that said, they're probably going to only do half the bowl. They're only do half bowl, and then they're going to, as after the second game, because they want to make sure they're not going to do it after one game. They're going to do it after two. Okay. They want to make sure that the same crowd that came the first time is the same crowd that comes back the second game, and it's either bigger or close to that number. So that means if a big crowd comes out the very first game, they are going to expect a second game for that to happen. And if it does, then many of the stadiums will open up the top. They'll open them up because they'll know that fans are coming in. And let's not forget, in 2020, when I say the prediction was totally wrong, that I think they were just going to break even, they were going to make a profit. 2020 was actually going to be on the plus side had it continued. Television ratings are not. See, I actually get to say what I want to say this time, because Dirty can't interrupt me. He can't interrupt what I got to say. And he'll be like, well, I give you a space to talk. I'll give you time to say what you want to say. No, not this time. Hey, as a matter of fact, when we get to the 30-minute mark, I'll allow fans to come on and we can discuss what we were discussing early on in the show. Okay, so just a little bit of time, just under 10 minutes, and I'll get fans to come on with me, give you the opportunity to chat with me. All right, yes, Van, it is the Rock era for sure. 2.5. Yes, exactly. That's what this is. It's 2.5. Because granted, you got to remember, folks, it's the same game, mostly the same teams. We just now with a different group. So I think it's 2.5 at this point. Let's see. See, Andrew says the only thing I would really like someday for 2001 is to maybe wear some throwbacks in some cities like Vegas with the old outlaw jerseys. I think that would, if that were to occur though, Andrew, the original cities from the XFL had to be in the new one. You know what I mean? And there aren't a lot of teams from the original. Like New York's not in it. LA's not in it. Chicago's not in it. Memphis is not in it. So if that were to occur, that'll be way down the line. Way down the line if the XFL sustains and remains. Okay. So yeah, it definitely would be awesome, Brian, if you get local teams to cheer. I think that would just be cool because it gives a local flavor to a national game. That just would be cool enough for me, Andrew. So, yeah, no doubt about it. Or that was from, that was from Brian about the local teams. Andrew says, I still don't think we'll have our first game in St. Louis till March. That's the rumor. And the rumor is that it'll be, let's see, you'll have 2 weeks in February, and it'll be that first weekend in March. It's looking like the very first home game. So that's where it's at right now. All right. I'm gonna get to that. I won't dirty for this one though. I'm not gonna do it today. We're gonna do it on another show, Brian, because I want to hear Dirty's thoughts on it. You know, I'm the more thoughtful one of the two. So everybody, if you know me, I'm more thoughtful than he is. So it says let's play the prediction game. Birmingham, yeah, I understand. Yeah, exactly. Birmingham was also part of that. So yeah, it's kind of hard to deal with that. Van says in 2023, fans were season tickets each game, all markets. Yep. Let's see with Brian. Yeah, that one, the 4 games for opening weekend. We'll get that before Christmas. We'll do that before Christmas, and we'll get everybody thought. And I definitely want to get, like I said, I want to get Dirty's thoughts on it. I want to know where his head is when it comes to what team's gonna play for opening weekend, because all 8 you gotta remember everybody's gonna play on for 10 weeks straight. There's no bye weeks, none of that. All right, let's see, we got let's see the gauge is the single game ticket sales for each home game 1 and 2. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. It says Redburn owns all. Let me throw that in. What's up, Mike? And welcome to the show. We'd love to see them put an app together that has games for all 3 iterations of the XFL. That's a good one. That is a good idea. Like you have an XFL Classic. You'll have, so that will be games from 01 if you want. I know everybody's, you can see them now. They're on YouTube. And I hope if they do choose to take them down, that they're going to utilize those games and you can go back and watch them from a clearer perspective. Because, you know, a lot of the games that you see now online are pretty grainy. Like they came from videotapes. You know, it came from videotapes and they were grainy, so you can't really see them. But if they were to do that and then make them clearer, oh my God, I would watch the game in a whole totally different way. I would have a better mindset, you know, of what we used to see in the past than, you know, where we are now. Like, and put them bad boys at 60 frames per minute with a 1080 pixels. Like, I would watch the game like it would be a whole new experience, like a whole old new experience for me. That would be sick. Wait a minute. Are you telling me right now, Mayor, that the XFL app is back up and running? It's back up now for Android users? Well, folks, there it is. If you haven't noticed it, you know, you can go check out the XFL app, go grab it. I'm going to go grab that. I might do that before the show is over. I like that. So things that y'all would like to see either return to the XFL or new innovations that could make the XFL more appealing. That's my question to you guys. I'm going to put that in the chat. So what would you like to see? Okay. That's either current, like you kind of modify it. All right. And then future innovations. Please let them be clean, because you already know that. I hate to break it to you, the XFL watches our show. All right, so keep it clean. Man, great comments will be posted on right here below you. Okay, and future innovations. Okay, all right. So what would you like to see currently that's there now? Modified future innovations. All right, that's the question that I have for you guys today. All right, I'm gonna post that right now. I got some more comments. Yeah, it says, Andrew, no XFL app on Apple, not as of yet, but I wouldn't be surprised between now and January where that will be featured, because they're going to be getting ramped up, ready for the season. All right, so again, here's it for our audiences. See if I can get the what would you like to see currently, like changes, if like anything new that you would like to add, or something that's already there but kind of slightly modified. Okay, that's the question I have for you today. What would you like to see in the XFL that will be more engaging for audiences, either the actual football fan or the casual fan? So that means that could be game day experiences. And I know they're going to probably come after me talking about something. Hey, we're doing that right now with the huddle. But you got to understand, seeing it and visualizing it and talking about it and we conversing about it is something, I think, just something a little bit deeper and a little bit better, so that I want to hear from you guys, the fans. Hey, and if you're watching this show right now, share it. Please share it. Share it to your different pages. If you are on Facebook, if you are on YouTube, you can share this to any of your pages on social media. You can share it on Twitter. And we also, folks, we are live on Twitter on the Pro Football Alliance page, okay? Play XFL, but I think that is from 2020. Yeah. And that was one thing that I actually liked from the XFL. Like, you want to make sure that fans are engaged through your app, because a lot of people using apps. Hey, my job, I drive, right? I drive people around and stuff. They're kind of like an Uber driver of sorts. But every time that I'm in my car, this is what I'm seeing. About 90% of my rides, everybody's doing this. If they're not talking, this is what they're doing. They're on their phones. So imagine, you get, when you get a part of that, everybody's going to want to participate on their apps. So, and they either playing a game or doing work on their phone. But my thing is, they're utilizing some kind of app. And having to play XFL come back would be terrific. Sometimes I take them to important business meetings. Other times it's just getting them from point A to point B. I see Brian says, I love to see an XFL section on a future Madden game. Now, that was the one thing I know discussed in 2020 was, if the league was sustaining, how long would it take for them to get an XFL game, a video game out? Let me see. Hold on. That is actually interesting for this reason. NFL is partnering up with the XFL. And so I wouldn't even give them a season just yet. I would just put like what I would say what NBA 2K used to do before the current iteration. They would just put like, I think the expansion teams or teams that weren't with them the previous season, just made them like a team for an exhibition game. So you just get 8 teams, you get the rosters, or if you don't get the roster, you can just put them in yourself. That's what we do anyway. You go online, download the rosters, and hey, there you go. Somebody will do it for you. It never fails. See, Jared got it. Madden 2005 used to have the NFL Europe teams. You couldn't play a season with them. you couldn't play a season with them, but you can play like a little exhibition with them, just to say, hey, we got your XFL teams on here. It all pertains to the sustainability of the league itself. And guess who that's a part? That's me, you, your friends that want to be a part of that. It's a community. That's all part of you. If you want to see a video game happen, you got to support the league. You got to support it. That's all of these new things that wants to be added onto the mix. It all pertains with you, the fans. If you, the fans, can make that work, hey, there's ain't nothing but time and opportunity, baby. So it's going to depend on how users, get the app and get the tickets and the fan experiences, getting more opportunities to get in touch with your local VPs. So it's up to them. Yeah, of course, Javier, EA Sports or 2K would be huge for them to be a part of that. I would love to see one of those operating and doing an XFL game. Does it go back to 2001? I didn't know that. Trey says EA hasn't listened to his fans in a long time. Well, it's just a matter of time. That 2K does. 2K listens to fans. Don't believe me? Just go to Ronnie 2K on Twitter. Oh, he listens to people all the time. May not like what he got to say and may not like the things that he does when it comes to those 2K rosters for NBA. He sure listen to him. Now, this is a good innovation right here. This is a good, put a VR camera. I think the USFL is doing that right now. You said from the sideline, though? I think they're doing that in the games where you can see the field. I know many people, those are the gamers. You remember ESPN NFL football. It had the camera on the helmet, so you kind of see from the different angles of the players. It was the hardest simulation to do, and so that would be cool. I wouldn't say utilize it. I guess utilize as much as possible. Would they do the eye cams? I mean, the eye in the sky that they did back in 2001. I would say bring that back into play too when it comes to broadcasting the game. That would be cool. Let's see what we got. What sponsors do you think are actually realistic? I know people want certain companies, but what do you think? Well, Brian, let me see. I would not be surprised if Anheuser-Busch returned. And because Bud Seltzer did quite well in 2020. Thank you, Taylor Heineke. Thank you, Nick Fitzgerald. Because they promoted the mess out of that. And being in a beer city like St. Louis, that went over well. And Anheuser-Busch seems realistic when it comes to being part of the XFL game again. I think many of the Rocks, like Under Armour, is realistic. Whatever product that, even the Zoa, if he puts out his alcohol brand, I think those would be realistic if they choose to. But Under Armour for sure. And I just really think Anheuser-Busch would be a part of that. They were a major part of the XFL back in 2020. And I don't think you pass up working with The Rock. You don't pass up working with Danny Garcia. You don't pass up working with Redbird Capital. As a matter of fact, Redbird Capital just dropped a major bomb about a partnership with, I think it was them and Jeff Zucker, $1 billion. It's $1 billion partnership. You mean to tell me that you don't think without a shadow of a doubt that sponsors will come to the XFL? They'll be there. No question. And another thing, I'm going to throw an innovation out there. I know we making fun of we mentioned Joe Buck and Troy Aikman doing the games and stuff. If Rock wants, I would not mind seeing a Rock cast. You know how you had the Manning cast? Ooh. Van says that Azoa is distributed by Anheuser-Busch Chief Competition. Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, and I agree with that, Jared. I really do think that sponsors have come to the table with the XFL. I don't see why not. Yeah, Andrew, when doesn't AB sponsor a sports team in St. Louis? Get your Battlehawk beer, right? Cacao beer. Like, ideas are being tossed around. You know, I wouldn't be surprised seeing that on St. Louis shelves come February, March, and April. That part. See there, right there. Jared says it right here. ZipRecruiter was a part of this. So you don't think sponsors going to come to the table with the XFL if they're not already? Come on. Brian says, I wonder if Disney would drop big movie trailers exclusively on XFL games. I wonder what $7 Productions is going to be doing during this time period. You know, that's the production company by Danny Garcia and Dwayne Johnson. Like, I know they want a big spectacle with their games, and they want as many eyes as they can grab. I wouldn't mind seeing The Rock doing some narration for the upcoming season. You know, like he has been doing already, like Danny has been doing too, because this is their product. And that just would, you know, give it that. You know what I mean? So I would love to see how they would get the season geared up. I wonder if they're going to do those scrimmages again, you know, fully dressed, get broadcast ready in Arlington. You know, there'll be a Choctaw Stadium, seeing what the actual game will look like. You know, because I actually thought that was a cool thing. And it's funny, I missed it when it was in Houston. And they did it over at Rice University. And I think I was, who was that? It was Diana Rossini. Who did it. She was with NFL Live. Where is she, by the way? Is she still doing NFL Live? Because, you know, they swap out every other year these days now. But she had mentioned on a video back in 2020 that, you know, how they were going to captivate and broadcast these games. So it's going to be interesting to see how they pulled that one off. I say 30 minutes. Right now, do 30 minutes. You don't want to take away too much. You know what I mean? 30 minutes to do fine for a recap. I mean, when they did the pregame with Jonathan Coachman, I can't think of the other lady's name that did it. I thought that was cool. Kind of get you geared up for the games of the day, for both days. So, and they did like 30 minutes, and then do a post game. I don't think they did a post. If they did, somebody remind me. Did they do a post game with the XFL? But I wouldn't mind seeing that if Coach is available. Rock's friend, why not? You know, bring him back in and, you know, make a spectacle of it. Make something that would, you know, be appealing to the eye. Said rumors going around that Black Adam 2 will be unlikely. That'll keep The Rock focused on XFL, hopefully. Well, Rock is going to have projects in his face all the time. And he got to make his movie money, Now, it would be surprising if he says, I don't feel like I'm not going to do movies for a while. Now, if you say that, that lets me know he's going to be fully invested with the XFL. But I'm not going to hold my breath on him being focused entirely on the XFL because they built a team for that. That's why. So I think you got WrestleMania during the season. You do. You got WrestleMania during April. That first weekend in April. So it won't take away from The Rock, and it won't take away from the XFL. That's an interesting nugget. We'll get to that. No post game. And yes, Brian, we love doing little discussion shows like these, where we get a chance to all discuss different things, and that'd be kind of cool if they were to do that. And of course, here, we could be the guys to do it if you want. Just saying. Coach already said he wasn't coming back after Vince screwed him with his money. You really don't think Flame Wingman that The Rock can convince him to come back? You really don't think so? Like, come on, guy. Said this time, like, I got you, buddy. You know what I mean? We've known each other for over 25 years. You don't think that relationship, or it's over 20 years, I should say, you don't think that relationship could, bring him back into the fold? But and plus, trust me, I don't even think that Coach did a bad job when he did it. And so, and got to remember, they're not broadcasting out of Stanford like they did before. They're broadcasting at Choctaw. Thank you. Right there. That part. Money talks. Everybody got a price. as a WWE legend once said. Exactly, man. His celebrity itself will attract so many players. And you can see right now, like I told you, there were players waiting to return to the XFL, that they did not want to go to the USFL. I'm not going to say it was because of The Rock, but I have belief that was the reason why. I have a belief that it is. I really think that that The Rock's pull is the reason why they want to go to the XFL. And not too many people are fond of Brian Woods. Let's just keep it honest. Not too many people are fond of him. So only time will tell to know how well this works out. If they do radio games, I think locally they'll do one, and then of course they'll get another partnership. And I would not be surprised if NFL Network's radio station was covering those if they did it. I really think that SiriusXM is going to do it. They did it before. They did the XFL game of the week. So I don't see that being a problem again. All right, man, we run through this so fast that I forgot that if you guys want to come on, you can hop in and you can discuss. You can discuss the show matters, and we get your thoughts, because you guys are fans. You're paying. Everybody here is paying their money to be a part of this league and support this league. So definitely want to hear it, and the league would love to hear your thoughts too. So because we're kind of in this thing together, So if you want, so what's the song before what? I got a message. I'm trying to read it. Did I miss it? I was trying to read it. It was a comment. What was the song before XFL games came on? Is the same in 2020 or new in 2023? I don't know. I don't know what the theme song is going to be for the XFL. You know how you have you hear the NFL on CBS. When you hear that, dun, 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 you hear that, or NBC. Dun, 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 dun. You hear those, right? It would be best. I would be surprised if the XFL has a totally different theme in 2023. Now, yeah, I will agree with that. That For the Love of Football song was pretty cool. They do need, I would say, bring that back. That would be cool. I think, is this what you're looking for, Javier? For the Love of Football? That would be interesting. They brought that back. But you want a distinctive thing that people will remember. Like, if I tell y'all you remember Round Ball Rock, you may not know the name, but if I said NBA on NBC, you knew what that was right away. You know what I mean? Sometimes having a distinct theme can be remembered well if you have successful seasons. All right. So definitely it'll be cool to see. Yeah, we ain't got a lot of time, Brian, so hurry up and hop on before we get out of here today. So yeah, For the Love of Football would be good. A lot of people mentioned about the app. I got my guy in. Oh, I got Jared in. Let's bring in one of our fans. Bring in Jared Hanson into the mix.
Hey, howdy. I wanted to talk about the jerseys.
Okay.
I thought the jerseys most of them were really good. I think the worst ones were Orlando and Seattle would be the ones I would say. I enjoyed the Vipers, man. What a transition from Tampa to Orlando. It was Tampa to Las Vegas. Yeah, it just looks so really awesome. What were the best ones? I actually didn't mind the Renegades. I thought they were pretty decent. I know some people were like bashing them for some reason, but
yeah, because of the light blue colors, the powder blue colors, and they didn't like too much.
The white reminds me of UNC for college football. That's just me though. The white. Yeah. And then what was the best one? Oh gosh, everyone said Houston was very good. Yeah, Houston was very well done. The helmet, I'll get used to the helmet. I think the two-sided helmet's a cool idea. I didn't know that. I thought it was two separate helmets at one point at the beginning. I was like, oh, they're going to have two separate helmets, but no, it's just, the 2-in-1. So that was pretty cool. There's one I'm missing that was really good as well. The St. Louis was all right. I mean, they could have kept it as is. They wanted a different, look altogether. I thought it's all right. I thought it was okay. I know some people are not liking it so much, but if they wanted to, I don't know about you, but it would be cool if they would just have like a, XFL 2020 collection or something where you could purchase the old 2020 stuff if you'd like, just a,
Now I wonder as I'm about to bring in my guy from Reels and Heels, Brian Winslow. Brian,
hey.
Good afternoon to you. One thing that I want to see, if they do not, do you think Royal Retros will get on board with that? Because, a lot of people go to Royal Retros for the old XFL 2001, those jerseys, and then they got the old USFL jerseys together. You think they would get them on board with that?
Are you asking me?
I was asking Jared because Jared was, he was mentioning about the jerseys, but yeah.
But I think the legal, if they have legal issues with the XFL, I'd worry about it if I was Royal Retros. If they can get through the legal stuff, if it's legit or they're given permission or whatever, then so be it. If they get I don't know if they'll get lawsuits or something, but if they're allowed to do it, then so be it. Yeah.
What you thinking, Brian?
Well, since when they bought the XFL out of bankruptcy, they bought everything, include all the way back to 2001. So they have all the video packages, all the rights to the names, and I think on the shop having a retro section would be really cool. If you remember, what was it? Right in 2020, probably around October, November, somewhere around there, they were still clearancing out the 2020 jerseys. So I would love for them to bring at least the 2020 jerseys back.
Oh, absolutely. That would be great. Like, seriously. That, because if we're going to go back to all iterations of the XFL, you might as well celebrate all of it, right? Even from 2001. And
I kind of have a theory on, since they own everything, that they're holding on to those for future expansion for some of them.
That would not be a problem. That's what their plan is they want to bring back some of the teams or maybe some of the old ones. Granted, Vegas probably won't be in the picture anymore.
No, they'll keep the names. They'll just be different cities.
Right. I would not be surprised. Let's see. Andrew says, I hope they would do hype videos like the NFL games would, like the movie quote mashups to get the crowd going before kickoff. Again, that's a whole big thing. I wouldn't be surprised if $7 Productions were behind that, or even ESPN's crew was behind it, because they have some great people that handle graphics. I would just love to see something. I mean, you want to make it big. You don't want to make it just minuscule. And I remember back in 2020 when they did the first game, I didn't have any problem with Steve Levy and Greg McElroy doing that first game when they were in DC. It was DC and Seattle. Steve's voice was captivating enough where, it was like everybody was seeing the game for the very first time and bringing everybody in to say, okay, this is what the game looks like. And we had exciting plays that happened and things of that nature. And, it was just like everybody bringing it for the first time. I don't know if that's what you guys saw, but I would love, because it's The Rock and Danny Garcia, $7 Productions, they always go big with stuff. So I guess.
Do you expect that, just maybe not the whole first weekend, but the first game on the 18th to be a big spectacle, like maybe have a celebrity singer singing the national anthem, maybe The Rock making a quick thank you speech, in front of the live crowd. Do you expect just that first game, or the whole weekend, or maybe the whole season be a spectacle?
If Rock doesn't open up either from DC, he's going to open up via video. That's what I can see, because it's going to be
maybe Danny too.
Yeah, both. I think Danny will be the one doing the speaking.
Yeah, Danny. I heard that Danny lives in Orlando, so yeah, totally her. But The Rock's definitely I think he's gonna make an appearance, especially the first game. If he's gonna be doing NFL Super Bowl intros and the opening game of the of the NFL season, hyping them up, then he should. I could guarantee he's gonna be at the first XFL game. I would assume.
Yeah, so stuff like that would be fantastic. It would definitely appeal. And so I know a lot of
for you guys to get to my question next week about the predicting, because I'm curious on what you think the four teams are going to be.
We're definitely going to talk about that. What we believe is the 8 teams are going to play weekend one, first weekend in that first XFL weekend, February 18th. We'll definitely discuss that. Who's going to be the primetime game? Who's going to be the opening game? I think this is what I think for that. It's going to kind of go the same way like they did in 2020. You'll have 2 afternoon games on Saturday, and then you'll have I think Sunday they try to do the same thing. But
1 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. Noon, and then you have a 3 o'clock or 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. game. And then with the other one, you'll have 3 p.m. or excuse me, 4 p.m. and then you'll have a 8 p.m. game.
Yeah, I think ABC definitely will be. I would hope that ABC is the first channel for the first game or whatever. So
I would say no. I think ESPN won't have anything unless they're choosing basketball for that weekend.
Well,
that's fine.
What other sports are going on, like college-wise, during that time?
College basketball is going on. The NBA is going on. Hockey's going on.
Yeah, that's right.
But
so
hockey's on TNT, right?
They also have ESPN games too, but sometimes they'll put it on the flagship, and then other times they'll post it on ESPN Plus, and you can just watch it through the app.
Okay, so are we saying that ESPN will be the channel to show the first game, or ABC? Or
it would be. I would love ABC to do it. But they're going to go with their primary programming first. So that means that they have dramas and stuff. They're not going to do anything special just to put an XFL game on. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was on ESPN. They did it there.
Well, ABC.
If they did ABC though, it's a Saturday. So like
they would do Saturday, but they wouldn't do Sunday.
Right.
Sunday they focus on their programming.
ABC and NBA seem to be a pretty popular, mix or whatever.
Yeah, and plus, that's when they'll start, because they'll be right around the same time as All-Star Game weekend, and so when they do that, ABC will usually get the primetime game for basketball. So, like I said, they'll be prepared for the games on ABC beforehand. Because they don't do, but they do college basketball too. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to remember they do college basketball on ABC. So that is going to be how all that's going to transpire. Who's going to be on that weekend? Will it be an ABC game or will it be on ESPN? It would be best that ABC puts it on February 18th.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up to see like what sporting events are happening on the 18th.
Yeah, what he already mentioned, I think he covered most of what's going on in February.
Well, I'm just saying exactly on that day, but
I think it's going to kind of be the same way that it was before. ABC covered it in the beginning. I know when they did the 2020, Fox did the other game. So, but you also got to catch them online, which was great. And that's the other thing that I'm hoping that ESPN Plus does every game. Like you should not miss not one single. Like if you miss it on television, you should be able to watch it on the app.
Yeah, replay should be a given.
Every game.
Yeah.
No blackouts, none of that. Every game should be featured on that app.
I will be signing up for ESPN Plus for the first time, starting in February. Yeah.
Don't forget they also have an XFL section that's in the ESPN Plus app too. So they're going to put XFL content there. So
yeah, I have it with my Hulu channels. And under like favorite teams, you can put all your NFL teams that you like and stuff. And so I have XFL on there, but it doesn't let me choose the teams yet.
So yeah, and like DB Stallion said, ABC for opening weekend would be a huge win. That's what it was in 2020. But 3 million people watched the very first game, and it was a win for them. It was a win because you have to understand. Totally. Think about from 20 years ago when NBC they did opening night. They did first game was at night, right? And so
that was 56 million people that watched that game,
and that's the difference. But the thing was, you don't have all of the channels that you have now currently, and then you don't have streaming. Streaming wasn't part of this as well, right? So now that the number has scaled tremendously lower, anything seven-figure wise is a win for the networks.
Yeah, because you
got networks, it's 6 figures. Anything over 500,000, $500,000 is a win. Okay, because you got to understand all the cable networks that are a part. When you get your cable channels and TV deals and whatnot, or whatever contract that you're under, you noticing like all these channels that you never really watch. You didn't know what FS2 was 3 years ago.
Unless you watched like F1 racing or something,
right? Or you found an XFL game there.
Yeah, you didn't even know it was in existence. Like an ESPN3 or something like that, for example. It's so obscure.
And Van saying that ABC would be game one for ESPN, and game would be game one, and ESPN would have the Sunday night game of the week. That'd be cool if they did that. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. And yes, the USFL was prime time. USFL was prime time
because Fox is so huge as an investor to the USFL. The connection is so strong.
Yeah, and because it was simulcasted. Remember?
Oh yeah. The first, yeah.
It was simulcasted. Fox and NBC did the games. No, Andrew, I don't think we're at that stage yet. It's at ESPN, the Ocho.
No, that's that freaking cornhole. That's the spelling bee. That's like Texas Hold'em. That's.
But they actually do that. That's what's funny.
Yeah,
is that they would do that. If they did it out of like joking manner, yeah, I would love to see that.
I would
belong to simulcasting. You know what I mean? And me and Dirty can do that game on ESPN Ocho.
Yeah, you guys that would be the perfect place for you and Dirty, or Dirty at least.
Me and Dirty could do the ESPN Ocho game if they chose to do that. But hey guys, we kind of ran over. But thank you for hopping on with me a little bit, touching a bit on some of the things that I discussed today. Jared, Brian, of course, Reels and Heels. I can't wait to get on your show Saturday, man.
Yeah, just a quick plug. This Saturday, if Dirty is feeling better, he'll be on as well. And we're going to recap the year of pro wrestling. It should be very fun.
Yes, indeed. I can't wait. Jared, thank you so much, man.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Brian, thank you too, okay?
Yeah, man. Take care.
All right. About to get up out of here, man. It's that time. And Dirty, you already know, brother. I'm thinking of you. And get better, man, so you can come back on Tuesday, because we got some more things to discuss, and because I got to hear your predictions on the games that are going to happen on opening weekend. All right, so just for a little while, we'll catch you guys on Tuesday for another edition of the X-Fan Show, Afternoon Delight. All right, see you next time. We out.